Welcome to the 2D Web Solution Show, the podcast that provides freelancers who are wanting to make more with WordPress, the solutions to create a plan, take action, and experience success. And now, here are Arelthia Phillips and Carron with their next 2D Web Solutions episode.
Today's topic is determining what product or service to develop.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back. Thank you again for being here. So today we're continuing our conversation after last episode where we had our problems and our solutions on a sheet of paper, and we determined if they were going to be a product or a service. So we're going to continue from there. So let's just jump right into it, Arelthia. How do you determine and test what solution or how to develop your solution? Which process is the best?
Okay, so when it comes to determining like which solution to actually develop or which one you want to move forward on, the first thing I would start with is to research each solution. You want to research it and look at what are the alternatives. Now, when I say alternatives, I'm talking about like what is out there. How are people already solving this problem? What are they doing? You can check for stuff like this by Googling, using the keywords that you think people would use to search for your solution. Or you can just use it. If you think back to the research that you did when you talked to people about the problems that they're having and what are they doing to deal with those problems now, you want to think about all those alternatives. What are they doing already to solve their problem? Because if they're not trying to solve it, if let's say they're just dealing with it, then that's one of those red flags. And you want to look for those just to keep you going back to, okay, is it really a pain point or is it just an annoyance? So yeah.
Yeah, so you look at the client themselves and you ask them, talk to them directly, find out from them, is there anything that they're currently using that is taking away some of the pain, and determine if we need to develop a better solution or if what they're using is good enough.
Okay. All right. So after you look at those alternatives, I like to think, okay, so why would someone buy this solution from me?
Right. Sometimes the answer is as simple as, well, I told them to.
Okay. All right.
So, and that comes with time and authority and, the ability to really have a relationship with your clients if they trust you and you're coming up with viable options. Most of the time if it is my client taking me at my word, it's because I have given them a number of options to choose from and ask them their opinion as to how they feel the option would best solve whatever pain that they're having. Yeah. What is it that you do, Arelthia?
I think you hit it right where I would take this is that I want to look at, am I an authority on this topic? Because when you're the authority, when people see you as the authority, they are more willing to take the solution that you have and use it because they know that you actually know about a topic or that you are the quote unquote expert in that area. And it also comes down to, does your solution fill that gap in for them, which helps make you that authority? Or did you just pop up for these people yesterday, or have you been around and they know that you know your stuff? So you want to look at that. Are you an authority on the solution? Because even though it's a solution you may be able to provide, that does not necessarily mean that that's what people know you for. So
Right.
that's something you want to consider as well.
That's very true. There's a lot of times that I have clients who they will go off on their own and try different things. And a little while later, they'll come back and they'll say, oh, I was trying to do this. I was trying to do that. And I'm thinking, why didn't you ask me? I have that information. And it's because they don't know. First of all, they may not even know they needed a solution. And they second of all, don't know that I would have some insight to that. Yeah. So far we've talked about alternatives and we've talked about authority. The next thing I want to move on to is address. And yes, if you're seeing an alliteration here, AAAs, we're going for straight A's in today's lesson. So when we talk about address, as a reminder in your mind to think about how to approach this, it's how would you reach these people? What is their address? What's their location? How do you get in touch with the people? Or how are you going to get in touch with the people that this solution is designed for?
Yeah, I think, Kerry, for this one, this is like one of the most important things. One of the most important A's here is because if you don't know where the people are that's going to use your solution online, which you should have already addressed this, but this is something we need to go back to because we don't want to step away from this with our solution. Where are the people online that need the solution? Can they be reached in an affordable manner, whether it's online or offline? And then do you have access to the group? Do you have some type of connection to the individuals that need this solution? And guys, I cannot stress this enough. If you are unclear about the address part of this, about where they are, how to get them, how to reach them, can you do it in an affordable manner? This is like the biggest red flag. You know, I've said red flag before, but this one is like the biggest red flag.
Okay, so when you're saying a red flag, obviously it's something we want to avoid. So what happens, or how would you approach, or could you even bother to approach a solution where you had to figure out where these people are and infiltrate wherever that is?
Anytime you have to figure out where they are, Kerry, that's going to be an expensive test. So it's not impossible. It's truly possible. You just want to be able to step into someone else's audience and find these people.
So if we do have a solution that falls into that category, we may not completely discard it, but we are definitely going to consider it maybe not right away.
Yes, that's correct. Unless, you know, you got a big pile of money that you want to work with. If you can run some ads and test some stuff and maybe even use somebody else's audience. Like I keep saying that, like go to Amazon, use Amazon's audience because they have people looking for stuff all the time. If there's a way that you can infiltrate there to figure out who your exact audience is for that and to find out where they are, you can do it that way. But it's definitely going to cost you more.
Right. Right. So where does that wrap us up to, or where does it bring us to next?
So after you deal with the address situation, you want to look at, can this be automated?
Oh,
so
that's my favorite part of the whole process is coming up with the system that automates. There is something that is so attractive to that whole ordeal for me. It's like, ooh, I can make something work in a way that it hasn't worked before, or maybe even isn't designed to work. So yeah, I love trying to find the solutions for automation. How do you approach automation, Arelthia?
You know, when it comes to automation, I want to think about, can I automate the whole solution or even just part of the solution so that I don't have to be so hands-on to it. If I can't automate it, that does not mean I just throw the solution away. Automation just makes it a little bit better solution for me. But automation also has to work for my customer.
Absolutely. Absolutely. This actually reminds me of something I had happen this week in my business. I have a number of clients and I obviously invoice them on a regular basis. And a lot of my invoicing is automated. Can you hear my dog out the window? I apologize. However, one of the things that isn't completely automated yet is my ability to send them a reminder email sequentially before their payment is due, just to help me ensure that I am going to have the payment when I need the payment. And so as simple as that seems, to be able to automate an email, it's something that I still don't have implemented into my own system. And I know that the tools are out there and I know it's possible, and it's definitely something that I'm going to take care of this week. But it's as simple as that. It's as that kind of a pain point when you realize, oh, why am I doing this again? This could be automated. I could have this done for me. I wouldn't have to make this extra trip into this application or this piece of software to accomplish what it is I need to accomplish.
Yeah, I think that's a good point you make there, Kerry. That sometimes we don't think about the problem until it really starts to get to us. Like, okay, we've dealt with it over and over, but now it's like, okay, hold on, why am I doing this? There has to be an easier way, so it's like, do you start looking for other solutions, or do you look at how you can do it with what you already have? So that's something we need to consider. So for example, I could say, hey, Kerry, I use Wave for my invoicing, and they allow me to set up the reminders. I can set up when I want the reminders to go out. So if I want it to go out like 7 days before it's due, or however many days before it's due, or like that same day or the day before, whenever I want the reminders to go out, I can set that. But you already have a system that you use, and so you want a solution that works with your system.
Exactly. And I'm sure I'm not exactly sure, but I'm pretty sure it probably exists, because obviously I'm not the first person that has had this come up. And that's the great thing about finding solutions, is it's not very often you don't find something that gets pretty darn close to solving the solution. And then if all you have to do is tweak it a little bit to make it work exactly the way you want it, that's the perfect solution.
Yes. So once we go through our straight A's, Kerry, we want to move into, we want to start to think about, okay, so what are our next steps? What do we want to do next to move forward? And so even though we would do this for all our solutions, we'd go through the straight A's for all our possible solutions that we want to develop, but we want to think about them individually before we think about them as a whole. So in this case, I'm thinking more along the lines of, okay, so do I develop the solution? Do I delegate it? Or do I dismiss it altogether?
Right. So basically, we've had this list of problems. We've matched them with our solutions. We know that we want to develop either a service or product for our list, but now we need to prioritize this list and determine which product is really the one we're going to develop first. It's that, which one are you going to address first? And you have three basic choices. You're going to decide whether or not it's worth developing an alternative to something that's out there, or tweaking something that's out there, or is it just being able to delegate that task to somebody else to do for you, or dismissing it. And when you choose dismiss, it's not necessarily completely dismissing. It could be temporary dismissal in the case of something that might cost you more income than you have financially available at the moment. Maybe it has to do with finding where that client is, or infiltrating their lair and things like that. Is that how you approach those options as well, Alita?
Yeah, and it's like I really do look at them, all the solutions independently, and then because there may be a solution with a few red flags, but I still want to delegate it, or I still feel like, okay, I can develop this solution into something that works. But like when I look at all this, let's say I have 5 solutions that I've come up with to different problems, okay? And so when I look at each one, I'm going to look at the ones with the most red flags. I'm going to push those to the side and focus on the ones with less red flags and develop or delegate on it. And so that's the solution that I want to work on first, because you can only do one thing at a time. If you try to do more than one thing at a time, nothing tends to get done, and you continue to spin your wheels. So focus on the one solution that you want to develop or delegate, and then go from there. Get that one developed before you do something else.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And I am not the type of person who focuses in on only one thing at a time. I tend to do too many things all at the same time. And the caveat that I would warn with that is, if you do decide not to focus in on just one, understand that you're not going to make rapid progress. You still have the potential to move forward, it's just going to be at a much, much slower rate because it's not focused in and you don't have the attention in one direction only. It's spread out over in a wide area versus a straight and narrow path. So, Arelthia, what's our action plan for this week?
So our action plan for this week is to use straight A's to determine which product or service to develop.
Fantastic. So we have another worksheet for y'all, and you can download it when you go to the website at 2dwebsolutions.com. And some of the questions that we want to ask you is, what was your favorite area after you came up with your solutions? Which of the develop, delegate, or dismiss would have been your favorite to choose? Would you rather develop or would you rather delegate? Obviously, dismissing is the easy answer, and we just dismiss it and don't do anything, right? Do you have any questions for them, Arelthia?
My question for our audience is, when you go through this whole process and you work through the straight A's, do you find that you get more clarity on the process that you've already went through? Do you feel like you know more about where your customers are, or do you feel like, oh my goodness, I didn't do enough prep work ahead of time, and now I'm trying to choose a solution that I have no clue about? So I guess if I narrow down my question is, do you feel as though you did enough prep work to be able to choose a solution? Okay.
Right. And my final question for them would be, did you come up with a new product or service for your company? And if so, what is it?
Okay. All right. So guys, we know your comments help us or someone else in the process. And so we just invite you to visit our website at 2dwebsolutions.com and to leave us a comment, give us an answer to one of these questions or all three if you feel like, you can answer all three.
Yeah, we really want to thank you guys for being here. You guys are so awesome, and we so much appreciate you.
So now go on out and create your plan.
Kerry and Arelthia invite you to start your plan by taking this action. Submit your questions by visiting their website and subscribe to their 2D podcast at 2dwebsolutions.com.